Hey, this is Aaron Wallace. I came back from my road trip. I got a new haircut and stuff. Alright, so let me finish the story. Um so we move into this new trailer park. Things got worse there. Um my I don't know what to start out with. Um let's start out with Christmas. We're gonna start out with Christmas. Alright, so me and my brothers, we asked my grandma from Ohio for a lot of stuff, and she said she might send all that down for us. And we woke up and all our presents were under the Christmas tree, and we had so many. We were like, "Oh boy, I wonder what we're getting! I wonder what we're getting!" We were like that. We were so hyped up. We opened the presents, and it was everything we wanted. PS2 games, two PS3s, PS3 games, two flat screen TVs, a PSP game, some bikes, a boombox, everything we wanted. And we were so happy. And we thanked our grandma, and she did all this because we had a crappy life. 6 weeks later, I come home from school. PS3 was gone. I said, "Dad, what happened to the PS3?" He said we pawned it, but we're getting it back. Um, Came home from school the next day. My other PS3 was gone. "Dad, where's it at?" He says, "I've pawned it, but we're getting it back." Yeah, we're getting it back. Um, come home from school. The flat screen TV was gone. I said, "Dad, where's it at?" He said, "We sold it, but we're getting it back." The other flat screen TV was gone. And next thing you know, all our stuff was gone. They pawned everything. Everything. So, I tried to pretend that that never happened. And then I was hanging out with my friend Brian. And then out of nowhere, I break down and I started crying. I was like, ah. He was like, Brian said, "Aaron, what happened?" I told him everything what happened. I come home. My dad starts yelling at me. And then I came in and then he started beating me, and he said, don't get out your room at all." And I said, "Yes, sir." And then I spied on my parents for a little bit. Just for a little bit, to see what they spent the money on. And I figured out that they spent the money on crack and cocaine and drugs. So that's when I figured out my parents were drug addicts. So, yep. The next day, the electricity gets shut off. The electricity's gone because they sold all our money for crack. They didn't even pay the bill. They didn't. So we had no electricity and no water for 6 months. And I swear to God, this really happened. I swear this really happened. We had no electricity and no water for 6 months. If you comment and if you say you don't believe me, I'll get one of my family members and they'll say it's true. I'll get all my family members, actually. So we had no electricity, no water for 6 months. So then we got evicted. And then we moved to this other trailer park, and this is where things got even worse. Well, we moved in with my Uncle Bobby, and him and my Aunt Kim got a divorce, which she ain't my aunt no more since, split up. And we moved in there, and then my uncle was starting to become a drug addict because, I don't know if it's because my parents or some other dude, but he was starting to become a drug addict. And 2 weeks later, 2 weeks, the electricity and water gets shut off. Again. 2 freaking weeks. So then, me and my brother started staying with my great-grandma, Hot Rod Granny, because we lived right by her. Like, we were just a few houses down, because we moved into her trailer park. And, this is a messed up, this is the messed up part I'm going to tell you guys about. This part is so messed up, it's just mind-blowing. One morning, me and my brother were hungry. There was no food in the house. All we had was Pop-Tarts. So we got a Pop-Tart. We started eating it. My mom figured out that the Pop-Tart was gone. So then my mom starts yelling at us saying, "Man, the Pop-Tart's for breakfast! The Pop-Tart's for breakfast!" She started yelling at us. And then we said we were hungry. So then she goes off and tells my dad. She comes back and she says, "Your dad wants you." So then me and Alan, we walk back to the house with no electricity. And my dad yelled at us. And then he beat at us. And I said, "Dad, we were hungry. There was no other food." And then this is where the messed up thing happens. He chokes me. He throws me on the ground. And then he grabs my arm and he breaks it. Yes, he breaks my arm over a Pop-Tart. Can't you believe that? He broke my arm over a Pop-Tart. And I swear this happened. This is all true facts. All of it. Every single bit of this is true facts. Alright. So, I start yelling, "Ow, my arm's broke, my arm's broke." And all my parents told me to do was, "Oh, it's none, just work it off. Just do this. Yeah, just do this. It'll get better." 2 months later, my arm's finally healed. I didn't go to the doctor, I didn't go to the hospital, or nothing. Nothing. And then that's when I started doing bad things in school. For what I was going through, I was doing some bad things. I was stealing. I was fighting people for no reason. I cussed out adults for no reason. I did so much stuff. And me and my friends, I hung out with thieves most half my life when I lived with my parents. So all we did was go to the stores and shoplift. That's all we did for a living. We'd wake up, come home from school, and we just shoplift. That's all we do for a living. We shoplift. That's all we did. So I started stealing. I started fighting people for no reason. I started cussing out adults. I started doing a lot of bad stuff. And I was so bad in school. Um, my principal told me that if they had a top five bad kids list, I'd be number 3. If they ever had that, I would be number 3. I was the most baddest kid in that school. I wasn't the most baddest kid in the school. There was like 10 other ones, but I was one of those. And I would often get suspended from school. One time I cussed out my bus driver, and she suspended me off the bus. And I was so scared because I was afraid my dad would beat me up. My heart was pounding. I was so scared. He woke up. I gave him the slip, and I said, "I'm suspended off the bus." He yelled, "What?" And then he would punch me. He would start punching me. Then he kicked me. Then he picked up a chair, and he threw it at me. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick. Just a little bit. I'm a little sick. I'm a little under the weather. Alright, so he would throw a chair at me. Then he said, "Don't get out your room at all." I start crying. I said, "Yes, sir." So, yep. And my parents kept on doing drugs. And, I just kept stealing, and all I did was steal all the time. Um, I would tell you guys more in part 4, cause this is where the real mess. There's some more messed up stuff that happened in my life, and I know I keep saying this is where it gets worse, but let's just say everything's just worse. But there's some more stuff I'm gonna tell you. Um, maybe tomorrow or Sunday. So I'll tell you guys my story later. Okay, bye.